Welcome to the Voluntary Option with your host, Peter Yaple.
Well, good Wednesday evening, everyone. I'm your host, Pete Yaple, and this show is the Voluntary Option. We are really headed into the home stretch here now, less than a month to go before we start electing new officials to hopefully to convey our wishes and work in our favor. We know this not to be true most of the time. We end up, getting those that want to rule over us. Well, tonight we're blessed to have some libertarian candidates on, and it's time for proper change. That's what I decided to name the show tonight because, we always hear every party say that they're going to change things. We can change things all the time, but if we're not doing it the correct way, intent, we're really not doing anything. Tonight, I'm going to have three guests from around the country on my show. I'm going to have James Toller from Kentucky. He's running for state representative in the 78th district. I'm going to have Tim Benjamin on, and Tim is a writing candidate here in Arizona, and Tim is also the chair of the Yavapai County Libertarian Party, in which I'm a resident of Yavapai County and can't wait to work with him. And then finally, we have Daniel Berman, and everybody knows No Taxation Dan. And Dan was running for president. And when that didn't work in his favor, he did the next best thing, and he took his home state of Texas on and is running for governor. And so we're going to have a great group of three gentlemen on from across the country, different areas of the country, which will have different problems and different lives. And we're going to see how they can make and plan to make it a better place for its citizens. This past weekend, we were blessed to be able to go down to Scottsdale and see Joe Jorgensen's rally. Sorry, guys, my wife is in the room. She's in the room. Jim Freedom went with us, Adam Kokesh, Tim Benjamin. We met a lot of other guys from the party down there. Had a great sit down at the Denny's afterwards, strategizing and planning for a great move here for the Libertarians in Arizona. More to come on that. But really, truly, guys, when we're thinking in the political realm right now, and we have these R's and D's we're fighting, and there's a question I'm going to ask to each one of my guests tonight. I want to hear their answer to it. I know what my answer is, and so I'm going to kind of hold off on that. I almost went right into it. I had to bite my tongue a little bit. But I just think it's a real important question. But anyway, when we're dealing with R's and D's across the nation, we're dealing with the same party. It's the same party, guys. They don't really want much different. And what they do want isn't in your best interest. That's what being a libertarian is.
Just want control.
Well, listen, guys, you can support this show and my other show and many fine other shows by visiting www.patreon.com/CWT42TVO. And that's for Canada We Talk 420, our Tuesday evening show. And tonight's show, the Voluntary Option. And we offer 6 levels of membership ranging from $5 to $100 a month to help sponsor our show, our website, things like that. We do a lot of work, put out a lot of money. But listen, by the time a person's at the $30 level, they'll start to receive something in the mail every month from us. It does start out with a bar of CBD infused soap by Mary's Creations. Natural Creations, sorry. And you'll get that plus the honorable mentions and the behind the scenes stuff that we offer to everyone. And then as the levels go up, we increase what we're giving you in value and then add them together so that by the time you're to a $100 level, you're receiving a bath soap, a facial ointment, a CBD tincture. And you don't have to worry about ordering that for yourself now or worrying about running out because every month it'll be at your doorstep. We found that to be just a little different with our Patreon account, that we're offering somebody something as well as just great knowledge and information. Also, you could support us by visiting www.teespring.com teespring.com/CWT42. Oh, no, /stores/CWT420. TVO-swag. And on there, hey, do you think you could do me a favor, honey, and go get that new thing I just got in the mail today? But on there, you'll be able to see a ton of swag that we got. And we've got mugs and masks, and we've got blankets and pillows. And I've got my tapestry up behind the pot leaf. Sorry. It does say first choice, not a third party, the Libertarian Party LP, vote LP. And that's what then the voluntary option obviously is represented on it. But I got this in the mail today. Pretty cool thing, the towel. My wife will be so kind to model that for me. And we got a cool ass towel today. It is
So there's
got my
the
logo
logo.
at the top, and then
And
it's
take a look at this guy.
all the way.
This
Oh, yeah, and then it's got the anonymous dude on there.
with some cool world doobies.
Yeah, amen. And can we talk at the top? So, guys, listen, there's plenty of swag on there. There's ways you can support us, help us, and have some cool shit. You know, I mean, that's basically what it's for. All right, well, let's get right into show now. I have Dan Berman was standing by. By the way, listen, Keith. What the hell's Keith's last name? Can't remember. I'm not going to do that right now. We'll talk about that later. Hopefully Dan has joined us in studio, but if not, Jim, can you bring on my guests this evening so I can introduce them properly? We can get to know these fellows. And Dan Berman obviously hasn't joined me yet, but hey, listen, it's Dan. He'll be here when he gets here. But on the screen, we do have tonight with us a gentleman from Kentucky. Who is running, as I said, as a state representative for the 78th district, and that is James Toller. And James, I want to welcome you to our show this evening. How are you, sir?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me. I always take the opportunity to get on a show to put the word of liberty out there. So I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Listen, that's what we try to do. We trying to give everyone a voice because, as we know, mass media isn't helping us out so much. And also with us tonight, I have a friend and a colleague and fellow libertarian here in my state, Tim Benjamin. And Tim is running as a write-in here in Arizona. And in Arizona, that's pretty much all you can really run as at this point in time. But we plan on making a difference in the next election, I promise. And Tim, I want to thank you for joining us and welcome you to the show as well. Did I lose Tim? Okay. I hope I didn't lose everybody else.
Hey,
Anyway,
producer note here.
It looks like I have 4 screens coming up now. I might have my producer joining me here.
Yeah.
I do. Hi, Jim.
How you doing,
Did
man?
we lose? Did we lose Tim?
Yeah, Tim temporarily went. Something happened with his audio and video feed. He just went down. He disconnected, so he should be back, and I'll put him back up when he gets back up. I think James Toller is still with us, but his mic got muted too.
Right.
So
No, I'm
like the
I'm
powers.
good. I was just eliminating background noise, if any.
There he goes. Okay, so
Okay,
James Toller
great.
is still with
Great.
us, just so you know. And he's having
Yeah,
an
I'll
issue
just go
with
right in
his
with James.
video, but he'll be here. Anybody else that pops up in the backstage, I'll just put him up for you.
You got it, Jim. Thank you very much. Everybody, that's Jim Freedom, my producer. And let me tell you what, I don't know what I do without that guy sometimes. I honestly don't. He's a lifesaver. Well, James, listen, this gives us a chance to talk. And I think that's a great thing because I don't know you personally. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you. So let's just sit down. Let's get to know each other a little bit. What do you think about that?
Hey, sounds good. Sounds good.
Excellent. And I agree with you. I think every chance we have the opportunity to get the word about liberty out, that we need to. Now, you're running in the 78th district, and if I'm not mistaken, you're running against a Republican and not a Democrat, correct?
That is right.
Okay, awesome. And now the thing about it, guys, is that the Republican is an incumbent, and they didn't even have a convention or any way to appoint him. They just kept him in there. So, James, how is it looking, out there with you guys, and how's your campaign running alongside his?
Well, the early voting started yesterday. So we have voting here in the state from now until November 3rd. But it's looking really good. We've got a real legit shot at winning this. Like you said, we've only got a Republican in this, no Democrat. And, you know, I'm kind of new to the politic, never ran for political office or anything like that. But the thing is, I found out real quick, you can't be scared to talk to certain people. And I went to a Tea Party meeting one night. Wasn't even in my district, nobody around in my district, but I just wanted to see what the Tea Party was saying. And on the way back, I said, you know what? It's time to bite this bullet. And I looked up and I called the chair of the Democratic Party in the county, which I call the battleground county, and talked to him, and they jumped on board with me quick. Just because there's no Democrat. So, I've got them over there. They're pushing me. They made almost a 200-word letter to the editor urging everybody to vote Libertarian, to vote for me and not push the straight party ticket, which is that's a killer here in Kentucky, is that straight party ticket. But at least we've got the Democratic Party put out, don't push that straight party ticket, vote Libertarian, vote James Toller. And we've really got a legit shot to win this race. So
that's good, man. Have you got a ton of foot soldiers, or have you been carrying a lot of this load on your own back?
I have just a couple, from the Libertarian Party. Great people, great volunteers. They'll do anything for you. And then now, obviously, I've got about, 15 or 20 from the Democratic Party out there knocking on doors, putting up yard signs for me and things like that. So, good. I've got a decent little crowd out there, and, I'm privileged. There's some running here in the state that don't have that privilege. And so I feel confident enough to where I can leave my counties for a day, go help them out, while my ground team is doing their job. So, that's a good thing.
Hey, listen, that's what we got to do. I mean, we have to share whatever time we've got with whoever else we've got it with. I appreciate you, man, and applaud you for doing that. I honestly do. Now, did you have to gather signatures, or did you have a spot on the ballot?
No, we have ballot access here in Kentucky. The ballot access race is the presidential race. So we have to get 2% to gain ballot access. And, with the last in 2016, we got that 2%. I believe we actually got 3%, I believe. And that gave us our ballot access. So, we're concentrating a lot on getting Joe and them that 2% threshold or above, and things like that, so we can keep that access.
Right. And hey, listen, it's to me, when I look at real numbers of Americans, let's screw the the political and all that media shit that they try to put and shove down our throat. But when I look at true numbers and understand that very few people are registered Republican and very few people are registered Democrat, and a bulk of people, twice as many almost, are registered independent, that to me tells me they don't agree with red and blue. So why we have such a hard time getting our feet in the door still baffles and amazes me. If we work on principle that truly aligns with the American people. And what are you finding? Are you finding that people are starting to come around more?
Yeah, they are, and it kind of surprised me. Talking to independents, libertarians, Democrats, Republicans, it seems that a lot of people that I knock on the door of myself personally, and that I have a privilege to talk to in front of their face, they tell me, I'm tired of what we've got going. I'm tired of the government that we have, and we've got to make that change. And, luckily enough in the state of Kentucky this year, we have a lot of races that's a two-way race, with the Libertarian being one of them. And if
Good.
people really mean that, this could be a huge year for us right here in Kentucky. And, you know, so, you know, people could tell you whatever they want to tell you to your face, to kind of make you leave their house, so to say. But it's all going to come out, you know, maybe on the 4th or the 5th after all their numbers come in. And if they really mean that, I mean, we're really in for a big change here in Kentucky this year for sure. And by the way, with that being said, you know, with that being said, I want to congratulate Donald Rainwater in Indiana. He's Libertarian running for governor, 2 points in the lead in a three-way race. You know,
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Indiana Monday to door knock for him and try to get it out there, you know, try to boost that lead a little more. So, you know, things are looking up for the party, that's for sure.
That's good, man. Listen, and listen, I think a good point to be made is the fact that you had mentioned that you never ran for an office before. You never, you know, listen, no, none of us really have. But that doesn't make us not just as viable a candidate as someone that's been a career politician. Actually, in my opinion, it makes us a better candidate. Why? Because we aren't tainted. We're like the 3-year-old kid that hasn't been to school yet, that doesn't know about racism and doesn't know about hate and sexual discrimination and all these things, doesn't have that in their life. That they're just this innocent being that's going around and trying to make the world a better place. And I kind of try to think of our party as that sometimes. Not that we're infantile or anything. That's not what I mean. But we have that bit of innocence about us that isn't trying to screw the people. We're not trying to screw those that we're trying to actually do and make progress and have some help involved. And, you know, so, I applaud you, man. I applaud you for helping others. I applaud you for going out and, you know, I mean, you're going to a neighboring state to help, you know, that's fantastic, man. And if more of us did that and more of us took on that proactive stance and that proactive way of trying to promote our party, I don't think we could be stopped, honestly, if you want me to be honest. Yeah, especially again, because of the numbers, you know what I mean? Just numbers in general. Like, Adam Kokesh makes the point on his show talking about, like, if electoral votes went for, truly how they should have been, there've been about 40 of them handed out and everything else would have went to nobody, so nobody would have won, it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that we have people that are so afraid of embracing something new, and I don't know for what reason. I mean, isn't that supposed to be exciting? And what challenge and what about growth is about? It's about adapting new things, improving upon what we have, man. And I think that that's all our party is about. So, but I'm preaching to the choir right now. I get that. Okay, cool. Listen, I'm gonna talk. Tim's back with us, so I'm kind of glad he made it back. He was having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it seems that he's made it back to the screen with us. So everybody, I want to introduce to you Mr. Tim Benjamin. And again, Tim's a write-in candidate here in Arizona. He's also the chair of our Yavapai County Libertarian Party. Tim, how are you this evening, brother?
I'm well. Can you hear me, Peter?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yes. I can hear you just fine.
Well,
why don't you go ahead. Let everybody know a little bit about you and what you got going, Tim, please.
All right. Well, as Peter said, my name is Tim Benjamin, and I've been a resident here in Yavapai County for 5 years. And I have been actively involved with the Libertarian Party since 2017 in the fall. And I quickly went from being a registered Libertarian to being a card-carrying Libertarian to being a county chairman. And the event that we had on Saturday with Dr. Ferguson was the first public political rally that I'd ever been to in my entire life. And to hear somebody running for president was very exciting. Now, I had previously participated in the Libertarian National Convention online, and I was one of the people who actually nominated Dr. Jorgensen to be our presidential candidate. So I knew where she was coming from already. I met her previously at the Arizona State Convention in January of this year. So, anyway, after the rally, as you said, Peter, we went and met up with Adam and some other people at Denny's. And while we were there, I had shared with everybody my interest in the subject of money. It's just something, finance and banking is just something that I studied and had an interest in for several years. And on my way home from having dinner, it just dawned on me that maybe I should look into running for a public office in the role of a treasurer.
Right.
We were talking at dinner about getting involved, not just in the Libertarian Party, but in our actual communities, like running for public office. And it just hit me. It's like, well, you like money, see what is involved in being a treasurer. I was looking at being the Arizona State treasurer, and then suddenly I felt more inclined to look at something a little more local and seeing,
we preach a message on this show, especially of volunteerism and of localization. And we believe all government should be handled at a community level. So people running for county and community positions are people that I respect just as much, if not more, than those that are running for the bigger offices. Why? Because they're affecting my direct life. So I applaud you for that, man. Yeah, and that's exactly what we did talk about, getting involved. We all have to get involved within our communities. Even if it's not within the political sense, we all have to start making the changes if we want this country to turn around, man. And that's what we have to do. We have to take it upon ourselves.
Absolutely. And, my personal objective, if I were to actually get elected into a public office, would be to not use that office for my own personal benefit, but to use it as an opportunity to show people this is what happens when libertarians actually are in office. This is what we're capable
and
of
apply
doing.
themselves.
And yes, and in a practical sense, I feel that I don't have any experience in public works. So if I'm seriously going to pursue an office, I think it would just be more prudent to look at something on the local county level, or seriously putting myself out there for public scrutiny, running for a state office.
Right. No, I get that. But listen, there are but no office is more important than any other office. Joe's running for president. That don't mean a damn thing compared to what you're going to run for or what James is going to run for. All of them have equal importance, and because not one person holds that ring of power here. That's one thing I always worry about with people, and I'm kind of glad you brought it up too. Is the fact that as these jobs progress and as we get closer to that big White House that sits on the East Coast, that ring of power that they got there, man, that little ring of power, boy, that thing really can start to shine and hypnotize. Can we viably say that libertarians, although they say they won't, will embrace that ring of power and be just like Gollum and the rest of the morons that have been in that office? Or are they really going to truly have the sense to be able to sit back and say, no, I'm really here to help people. I'm not here to, let the pharmaceutical companies make me a millionaire. I'm not here to, push policy because my name's on it just to fund my state just because you want me to. I hope we keep our integrity. I mean, that's what I hope from both of you gentlemen, as well as I do everybody else that's running out there, man. And listen, we've had the pleasure of having a lot of them on the show. We'll continue to. That's kind of what I try to do. But James, hey, listen. As far as early voting goes, and as far as polling is going, and I mean, as far as your voting is going in Kentucky, in-person voting is still going to be going on, correct? And is it going to be as limited and as screwed up as I've seen in some places on the news, or have you guys got it figured out?
I'll tell you, one thing that has surprised me about this government that we have, they've knocked it out of the ballpark on this early in-person voting. It's real smooth. It's real easy in and out. I mean, they've put a lot of thinking into this, and you know, I hear people praising it all the time. They're like, "Man, I hope we keep this." You know, because a lot of people's like, "Well, I wish we did have more than one day of vote," because you know, you put it in the middle of the week on a Tuesday all the time. People's working. You know, they're going to have to affect their livelihood a little bit that week to go out and vote. And people's really liking this option of how it's going. 80,000 Kentuckians registered to vote by mail.
Okay.
And then the rest have, you know, obviously just elected to go in person.
Right.
Which is, you know, I think is a big statement among itself. You know, we got over 4 million people here in Kentucky, and you know, just 80,000 of them elected not to go in person. That to me is a big statement.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful statement, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah.
Look, I have nothing against mailed ballots because, in some senses, because I don't want the whole thing to be a mail ballot. Don't get me wrong, but we've been having absentee ballots and things like that for generations of voting. So it's nothing really new. But the fact that people now can elect to do that, so they can get their vote out and get it out of the way, or vote at their leisure or whatever else, I think that is a lot more fair than scheduling the one day. Yes, the one day we will make the decision. By the time that clock stops, no more votes can be counted. Come in, count. You know, yeah, I get that. But I like the fact that your state is embracing going in person. I mean, man, we've got people so scared to go outside their home. How is life in Kentucky? Are people running around with masks around their head and, you know, whatever else all over the place?
You know, at first they were. I think people said, you know what, it's time for me to do what I want to do. And that's kind of what I'm putting out there anyway. You know, it's about the people. We the people. It should be your choice to wear that mask or not wear that mask. You know, we're seeing that more and more. You know, they put on the news. I went yesterday and voted without a mask. You know, and it's you know, they put on the news today the numbers from yesterday. They're not releasing any vote totals daily. But they did say that 50,000 people across the state voted in person yesterday.
Oh, okay, good. So at least giving you a number.
Day of voting. So, you know, they're embracing it pretty good now. You know, today, the governor today put out the numbers today, and today was the highest single day, I guess, raise in the coronavirus. I think we had like 1,300 and some new cases. And, you know, people's just saying, you know what, I know what I feel. You know, a lot of them's like me. You know, I'll treat it just like I do when I get the flu. You know, if I get it, I treat the flu. If I get this, I'm going to treat it like I need to. You know, there's no need in me going around with a mask. You know, just this time last year, you know, if you walked into a store with a mask on, you're probably going to get the law called on you. And today
that's right. You got arrested. You'd be on the news for a whole different thing.
So, you know,
sure,
everybody seems to be embracing it pretty good, though.
That's good. Hey, Tim, do you see any challenges across our state when it's going to come to voting? Do you think people are going to, I mean, there's certain areas that I could tell you across Arizona that are still really afraid. I mean, you go to Prescott Valley and areas like that, man, 90% or 80% of people still have masks on in the stores, like they're, you know, like they're going to get arrested or something. But I mean, then you get a little bit up here towards the desert. None of us people wear masks. There isn't nobody up. I mean, my wife wears a mask at work because she has to. And she only wears it when she has to at work. So, but as far as polling places and people getting out to vote, do you think we're going to have any challenges here in this state?
Probably not. Like, I wouldn't say there will be zero, but it will be on the lower end as far as states go. With my daily activity, I work construction. Nobody wears masks on our job sites, and when I go to stores, about maybe half of the people are wearing masks. The employees have to by mandate. Technically, there's a mandate here in at least in Cottonwood, but a lot of people are they're just had enough of it. It's and I don't see anybody like forcing people to do it or publicly accosting them. Now in Sedona, it's a little more. They seem to be a little more masked up, I guess you can say. I don't want to say they're more paranoid, but
they're more concerned.
There's more. Yeah, there's a greater concern in Sedona than there is down where I live in Cottonwood and Clarkdale.
Right. And there's another place we have. We have a lot of our reservations. Our reservations are on high terror, man, right now. I mean, they're all on lockdown. They're closed from 8 o'clock in the evening till 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's from Friday evening at 8 o'clock till Monday morning. They can't even go out in the street and walk around. When we were at the Joe rally this past weekend, Leilani got up and spoke and said, the Native Americans, we still don't trust the government. We're afraid of them. I get all that. Listen, if you almost annihilate my whole people, annihilate, let's slaughter them. They're my own people. Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time coming to dinner. I ain't gonna happen like that. So I get their tendency to hold back, especially the tendency to not vote. But if they took a look, they may find that there's a party that would embrace them, or if they could take the bull by the horns and run themselves, as we see it happening across the country, as more and more Native Americans now are starting to get involved politically. I get it, because they've almost been wiped out. But there isn't an illness floating around in the air that's going to kill you. Because if it was, I'd be dead. I haven't stopped traveling until May. I finally stopped in May when I landed here on my piece of property in Arizona. Before that, since 2016, I haven't sat still. That was during the whole COVID thing and everything else. I was coast to coast, and that's in a car. That ain't flying and getting there in 2 minutes. I was in and out of gas stations. And come on, man. This thing, and if I did have it, I might have. I think my wife had it this past December. Not that it was ever diagnosed, but she had the worst flu she ever had in her life. And for 3 days, her ass was in bed. In bed. Fourth day, she arose like Jesus and walked around the house like it, And not that she was better, but that she could finally get up on the fourth day. You know what I mean? But that's what this illness is. It's a very, very bad cold. And it'll take you down. And if you've got a weakened immune system, or you're elderly, or you've got you've got an immune system that can't handle a cold of that strength, yes, you may end up having some very serious difficulties. But we know, even with the numbers, whether we want to believe in one way or the other, even with the numbers that have been put out there, this is not a deadly disease. A lot of people got it, and a lot of people died from it. But a lot of people that wore masks got it and died from it, man. And a lot of people that have died haven't died from COVID, but have been tested positive for it, that now have been said to die from it. So we've got to get all of this fear out of the way. We've got to stop the chase the bone in the media, because that's all this is anymore. They don't want us looking at what's going on. They don't want us paying attention to the fact that we have two white old senile men that make no sense and have no business running 360 million people running for office. And that's what their distraction is. And it's working for them pretty good, honestly. It's working out in their favor. Working out to the point where they may not even honor the election. So, I mean, come on, man. We've got to make some changes, guys. And I'm glad we got good people like you running again. I honestly. Hey, listen, James, if anybody needed or wanted to help you out, man, how could they get in touch with you, or what would they do to be able to help out your run here during these last couple of weeks so that we could hit it hard?
Yeah, well, as always, guys, I'm the person I'm the person when I get in office, I'm going to be transparent. And to do so, everybody's got to have my cell phone number. And that is 502-735-3073. If you want to get in contact with me, give me a call. That's great. I'll take anybody's phone call. But you can go over to my campaign page on Facebook, which is James Toller for Kentucky 78th District. The top pinned post on that is my donation link. You can just click on that if you want to donate to help out going down this home stretch in this last month. And, you know, anything helps. And I can assure you that, you know, if you go down through there, watch videos, see what I put out onto the page, that's me. You know, I want to do everything I say I'm going to do on there. And, you know, it's just time that we bring this state and this country as a whole. But one thing I would say, we can't fix the country until we fix our states. And
that's right.
You know, the thing is, you know, this state's in a bad shape. And the only way we get it back is being for the people and letting the people control the government like it's supposed to be. And that's what I'm going to do.
Fantastic, James, man. I love hearing that, man. That's what I expect to hear and what I want to hear from a leader, man. And I truly appreciate that, man. I truly do. Now, listen, guys, it's real easy, as Jim did. Jim just pulled up his page right on Facebook. You scroll down right there. It's right there. Just hit that thing. If you want to donate a few dollars to the guy, always helps in these campaigns, man. Again, you hear he's getting ready to go to Indiana to help another candidate. So, you know, listen, let's do what we can do to get this gentleman into office. I mean, how many other guys out there are giving you their personal cell phone number? I mean, he's out there just slamming it right to you. James, I want to thank you for being on my show, and I want to appreciate the time you've given us this evening.
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that does these shows just to get the liberty message out there. You know, not a lot of people's will get on and do a show like this. And, you know, without you guys, you know, being able to do that, you know, it just makes it that much harder. This makes it so much easier to get that word out there. And, you know, I appreciate you for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. And anytime you want to be a guest or you've gotten a message, even after you're elected, if you got to get something out, man, always use my platform. You're always a welcome guest. You've been a pleasure to have on, honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a pleasure being on here.
Okay. All right, great. Oh, that's cool. That's great. So, Tim, what are we going to tell people? Where are they can write your name? Because I know our write-in ballots are out there. Where do you want them to write their name on that Yavapai County, on that county ballot?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, where do you want to be a write-in on there? You ran in front of them for treasurer, or is that next election cycle?
Well, you know, the reality is our election is only a few weeks away. So,
right.
The statistical possibility of me actually garnering enough write-in signatures, you know, I don't think that's very realistic for this election. But what's important is the fact that I'm committed to run for this office, meaning I intend on participating in every election cycle for this office until I get it. You know, I don't see myself bouncing around from wanting to take one office to wanting to run a different office. It's like all of my energy as far as running for a public position will be for this particular office. So, you know, most of my efforts are going to have to start with the next election cycle because, like I said, this just came on me the other night, and the election's a couple weeks away.
You're going to be busy anyway. You heard our meeting at that Denny's. We're going to be doing a lot of work here in Arizona. A lot of good work here in Arizona, though, folks. We listen. I come from the state of New York, and right now, New York, after the hard-fought battle of Larry Sharpe getting ballot access for the Libertarian Party, the R's and D's there are notoriously horrible. And I mean, like, you think they're bad in the rest of the country? Try California or New York. They're like probably the two worst states. But anyway, in New York right now, they are rallying, man. And I'm talking county meetings of maybe 6, 8, 10 people, tops. It's not like they have a lot of people involved. But those people are doing the job and making the mark. I mean, Thomas Queter, if Thomas Queter doesn't get elected into office, I'll eat this hat someday, like with some salt. Because I'm telling you, I think the guy's got a really like a amazing chance at doing this. He is making such noise and business there. But New York embraced that, man. And when they got attacks like that, I mean, it's a non-gubernatorial cycle. So Larry's not in the picture. He's only there in support. So what can he do? He's been out on that campaign trail just like as if he was when he was running for governor. He's hit 33 counties already out of the 60 that are there. I mean, man, dude, this guy's a hustler. And we need to have that same mindset that, listen, this is urgent, dudes. I mean, we have to capture, if we want to be able to carry our guns the way we like to carry our guns, and we like to carry our guns in Arizona, if we want the true freedoms that we truly have here, that other parts of the country really don't even know about. Listen, you live here and you understand why there's an America. You understand what that American premise was, because that's just talking to the people. Now, mind you, they're voting R's and D's because they got R's and D's to pick from. Okay? But if you talk to them and you look at the principle of living and the way we live our life here, and the way we don't want to take people's guns from them, we don't want to stop people from talking. We don't want to. Listen. We're a great state. That's why it ended up here. And if the rest of the country could just embrace their freedoms and understand that they're being taken from them every single day they lose another right. They're running out of rights to lose. You got a guy, Joe Biden, sitting on TV right now in his television and radio commercials saying, everyone will wear a mask. The country will be this. The entire nation will. Listen, Kamala Harris thought it was so important to mention toilet paper. Why do you think she mentioned toilet paper? She mentioned toilet paper because they plan on taking government just to the point that the Russians have, where you'll stand online for it. And you want to know what? We are becoming a society that is allowing that behavior and allowing that dictatorial comment or dictatorial conversations with us, and us just saying, yes, sir. We're setting ourselves up. And if you don't think we are, you better take a look around. You better take a look around. And people go, there's going to be a civil war. Well, I will tell you this. There will not be a civil war. A civil war is the North against the South. There is one faction against another. They have stirred up so much hate and discord in this country that there'll be 10, 15 different bands of control that are going to want to take over. It is going to be an ugly mess in the very soil in which we used to sit back in the 70s and look at Beirut and go, what the hell is going on over there? What's wrong with them people letting that happen? Well, we're letting it happen. We're letting it happen because we're not electing guys like James Collier or Dan Berman or Adam Kokesh or Joe Jorgensen. I mean, the list goes on and on. Larry Sharpe, Thomas Queter. I mean, we've got Joshua Flynn in Chicago who's doing fantastic. I mean, he's got the goddamn Chicago Tribune endorsing him. A libertarian candidate. It's got a major publication endorsing him. And the other publication in the state said, we would endorse you because you're the better no, you're the better candidate, but we're endorsing the other one. What? I mean, what? Why would you endorse the worst? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, play the underdog card. Go with the underdog if that's your stance. But don't sit there and go, you're a better candidate, but we're going to endorse the other person because they've been in office for so long. I mean, it's so counterproductive, man. It's so counterproductive. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for joining us on the show tonight, man. We'll see each other Saturday. So that's good. I'm looking forward to that. Or Sunday or whatever day it is. Sunday, whatever day it is. Yeah, Sunday. But I'm looking forward to it too. It's gonna be a good gathering. It's gonna be a good gathering. All right, man. Thank you again. And anytime you want to come on, all you got to do is shoot me an email, man. You got something to say, or the show's on Wednesday night? Pop on in, man. We'll give you the link.
Sure, no problem. I'd love to.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Well, listen, man. I'm sorry Dan didn't make it on the show. I'm actually gonna have to call him when I get up here and yell at him. But because really, man, I love Dan Berman. He's a good friend. He's going to make big change in Texas. You know, I forgot to ask everybody. I've been dying to ask this damn question, and I'll ask every group of libertarians that come on. So, you know, you got a little bit of time to prepare for it if you're watching the show, and you know you've got an invite because the show's booked again solid, but for another 4 guests for next week. So I said I might start doing the show 3 or 4 times a week just until election, and if Jim can help me. Hey, Jim, why don't you get on the screen for a minute? Let's talk for a little bit.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Everybody again, yes, sir. Everybody again, my friend, my producer, Jim Freedom. Jim obviously is Jim Freedom is also when he's just a substitute on that as Adam and plays Adam.
Yeah.
On Adam's show, but no, listen, when Jim hosts the show, it's a great show too, but it's a pleasure to have him on as a producer. Yeah. Listen, man, we've got how many days we got left, Helen? Tell you, how many days we got left till the election, Jim? 20 something? Not even?
19 something.
19
some hours.
Something like that.
I only know that because they played a countdown clock earlier today on Adam vs. the Man pre-show.
Yeah, that's cool. So we got like 19 days, man. 19 days for people to embrace themselves. I guess that's the best way I like to put it. And my question, I want your answer to this because you know I respect you, man, and love you as a human. What do we tell people? What should our response as libertarians be to those that say our vote is wasted? What do you think's the best way to kind of like address that? You know, what's the best way for us to defend our position, I guess?
I don't know. Honestly, it's likely to be different for every case. I mean, every person requires a different, you never know what a statist needs to hear to cure their statism. I mean,
right.
Some of them need to be told you're a fucking moron until they realize it's true. And some of them need to be coddled and babied and not offended until their mind is open. It's an arduous, difficult task sometimes. But there's no universal answer. There's no wrapped up, answer I could give that is a one size fits all. This is what you say and it works.
Well, the only reason, because I think I've had the question posed to me a lot lately. It's not, as of late, the question's changed a little bit, and it's gone from like, or the statement, oh, that's a wasted vote, to there's an add-on to that now. It's a wasted vote. If you don't vote for so-and-so, so-and-so will win. Well, yeah. If everybody voted for who I want to win, she'd win. So, you know what I mean? Like, I guess that could be my argument to him. Like, well, yeah, I get that. But, like, if you voted yellow, we wouldn't have to have this discussion either. Yeah, you wouldn't be wasting your vote on, somebody you really don't give a shit about. And another thing, too, I've noticed a lot. On social media and point, Joey brings it up a lot. G.I. Mary Jane, she brings it up a lot on her pages and her posts and whatever else, is that I can tell you, and I said the same thing the other day, I could sit down for 3.5 hours and tell you why I'd vote for Joe. I mean, why I'd vote for her, what she's actually said, what I know she will accomplish, which isn't, but you ask a lot of Republicans or Democrats what they like about their candidate, and they really don't have an answer, I don't think. Like they can't pinpoint, oh, well, he's this or she's that or this policy I agree with. Because let's face it, if you watch the debate, neither one of them know a thing about policy. Neither one of them want to talk about policy. Neither one of them want to defend or add their own, other than to say, I've got mine, and then shut the door. I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think a lot of people, need to really be just shook, like, what is the matter with you? But we don't want to scare off the ones that need to be rockabye boo-boo, though. But I got 19 days. I ain't got time to coddle people onto my arms and, walk them through an LP experience. But I don't know. I just don't even care.
Like if you're in person with somebody, just handle it like this. If you're in person with somebody and they say, "Oh, you're voting for Jorgensen," you might as well be voting for Trump, or you might as well be voting for Biden, whichever one they're using. Just look at them dead in the eye and say, "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard," and then turn around and walk away.
Right, and don't give them anything. You're right.
The seed is either going to grow in their brain or it's not. It's nothing. You planted the seed. You got to walk away. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. You walk away. They either are going to say, maybe there's something to that, or they're going to question why it might be the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, or they're going to say, screw that guy. Nothing you can do about it.
That's right. What an asshole, right, or whatever, right? Exactly. But you can't do nothing about it. At least, but at that point in time, you're doing the right thing. Hey, listen, I want to mention some political news, and again, someone that someone that I've introduced you to, some horrible political news. Good friend of ours, two good friends of ours, married couple, Adela Wisdom and Aaron Wisdom, were both running for positions in Missouri. Adela was running for Senate.
No, she was running Congress.
She was running for Congress in Missouri, and her husband was running for lieutenant governor. And they got illegally raided. Drones, you name it, man. Full militia busting through their house, arrested them. But they won't let her run now. They took her bid for office away. So she's not even on the ticket.
Which is so fucking wrong.
Which is so wrong, because this girl was born in Hawaii, moved to California. And when she got to California, man, she dug in. I mean, she really dug in, man. She dug into pot prisoners. She started a lot of organizations out there. She was helping out with some political campaigns there as well. Not Libertarian. They were Republican and Democrat, but we're talking years back. And and she's fought, and then she went and buys her piece of freedom out in Missouri, and she wants to give it to everybody else. Now she's Native American, and she's got Native American roots and whatever else. But to take the ability for her to fix nonsensical government and overturn, because she would the first day in office, I know she would do the best she could to overturn like horrible laws that are putting people behind bars where there's no victim. And I know she's fought for this. This is the thing that sucks. This is something that this woman has fought, tirelessly for. And now she's, a victim herself. And again, she's the victim. Victim if somebody's growing pot in their yard. She's a farmer. That's what I call a farmer. Yeah, that's what I call a person who likes the earth or wants to take care of the earth. But it's just some sad news, man, that Adela Wisdom and Aaron Wisdom are no longer a choice for you people in in Missouri. Well, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up for this week. I'm going to smoke some pot. I'm going to say goodbye to Mr. Freedom. Guys, don't forget, visit us at patreon.com and visit our Teespring accounts. They've been across the board at the bottom. Jim did them in the beginning. We don't need to go over them all over again. But listen, do what you can to support us. Till next week, I'm your host, Pete Apel, and live the freedom in which you choose to live.